Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's title dream is over. He did say after our 3-3 draw with Everton, we shouldn't be considered as title chasers. Obviously, Manchester City beat Liverpool 4-1 yesterday. So City are now 5 points clear of us with a game in hand. So it looks very, very likely that Manchester City are going to win the Premier League. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for like 8 years. But I think we'll win another title at some point, maybe next season, maybe the next couple of seasons. I think if we'd have beaten Everton, and I think if we'd have beaten Sheffield United, we'd have still been in the title race. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager, because we haven't won a trophy for like 4 years now, and a club of our stature, you know, should be winning trophies. You know, the FA Cup is a chance of a trophy, and the Europa League is a chance of a trophy. Now, I want to give you some more news on David De Gea. Solskjaer has warned David De Gea that his place is not secure in the Man United team. This was following the 2 mistakes he made in the 3-3 draw with Everton. Obviously, David De Gea made a bad mistake for Everton's first goal, because David De Gea palmed it straight to Decore's feet, and he was beaten far too easily for Dominic Calvert-Lewin's goal in the 95th minute of stoppage time. I think David De Gea should be dropped. You know, in the last couple of years now, David De Gea has made calamitous mistakes. And I presume he would have been criticised. I've criticised him. But quite a few years ago, he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world. And he has had some good games this season, and there has been signs where he's slowly getting back to his best. This is his 10th season at Manchester United, so he has been a long servant. And I think he is going to remain our number one for at least this season. He's made over 500 appearances for us in all competitions. But yeah, I think Dean Henderson should be number one. You know, I think Dean Henderson is reliable enough now to become our number one, because he has got that experience behind him. Don't forget, he did endure 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. And in the games Dean Henderson has played in this season, he's done well. I think before the start of this season, he signed a 6-year contract with Man United. Now, I want to delve into some news on Paul Pogba. So, we'll know furthermore detail about Paul Pogba's injury today. Now, Paul Pogba did sustain a muscle injury in our 3-3 draw with Everton. Solskjaer confirmed this, and he did say that Paul Pogba is going to be further assessed and he's going to have a scan. He's actually a doubt for the game against West Ham tomorrow. I'm hopeful that the injury is not too severe because, the vast majority of Paul Pogba's performances have been very, very good since he came back from that ankle injury that he did have earlier on this season. He was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. Don't forget, Paul Pogba got voted Player of the Month for January, reflecting on that fantastic goal he scored in the 2-1 win against Fulham. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer insists that Paul Pogba is happy at Man United. We have held talks with Paul Pogba regarding his future, and Solskjaer recently suggested Paul Pogba could sign a new contract at Man United. Now, Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. In recent weeks, he's been linked with a move to PSG. He's been relentlessly linked with a return to Juventus. Paul Pogba did endure 4 exceptional years with Juventus, and he's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. I think he said if we had to sell him this summer, we do want around £75 million. Paul Pogba's brother, Matthias Pogba, recently gave us an update on Paul Pogba's future, and he said that we must sell Paul Pogba during the summer if we are to get the money. Or he said he could leave for nothing in 2022, and he said that Paul Pogba's got no intentions of signing a new contract. He's actually saying the exact same thing as what Fabrizio Romano recently said, because Fabrizio Romano came out and said that Paul Pogba's transfer away from Man United is still on the cards, and he said that Mino Raiola has been planning a move for Paul Pogba next summer. Because don't forget, Paul Pogba's agent Mino Raiola made an announcement back in December saying that his client's career at Man United is over. He said he's unhappy and he has to leave, and he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. And this is what his 5th season at the football club since it rejoined. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. It said a few weeks ago that Paul Pogba was considering making a U-turn at the club, and it mentioned that he contradicted his agent Mino Raiola for the second time. Paul Pogba's future is on hold until the end of the season. So that's the breaking news on him. Now, this year's summer transfer window is very important for Manchester United because we do need to make signings. And I am expecting us to bring a few players in the summer. Solskjaer did say our summer transfer plans could be affected by the coronavirus pandemic. But it's very imperative that Woodward backs Solskjaer in the summer transfer window, because I think the transfer window Solskjaer's endured so far, he hasn't been backed enough by the board, and Woodward has come out several times to support Solskjaer, and he's promised Solskjaer that he will back him. He said towards the end of last year that he will back him with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. Solskjaer has endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager so far. But it was a disappointing January transfer window because we only saw one arrival, and that was Amad Diallo Traore. We got Amad Diallo Traore in a deal worth £37 million. With add-ons included, we paid £19 million up front. Won't be too long now till we see him in the first team. That was actually confirmed by Ole. He's made 2 appearances now in the under-23s and he's done very, very well. But Solskjaer did say a few times during the January transfer window that he wasn't expecting any signings. We was focusing a lot more on the outgoings in January rather than the incomings, and we saw, a few more players leave in the January transfer window. Obviously, we saw Jesse Lingard go out on loan to West Ham. We saw Tiedemann Mengi go out on loan. We saw Marcus Rojo leave the club. We saw Timothy Fosu-Mensah leave the club. Odi Nagalo said his farewells to the club. So to Solskjaer's credit, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood at Man United, since he got recommended in. I've given you the 3 areas where Man United need to strengthen up. I think we need a striker, we need a world-class midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. And like I've said, for us to be genuine title contenders, we need more signings. We've got to start beating the top 6 sides in the Premier League because we've really struggled against the top 6 sides in the Premier League this season. Obviously, we lost 6-1 at home to Tottenham. We drew 0-0 with Man City. We drew 0-0 with Chelsea. We drew 0-0 with Liverpool. We drew 0-0 with Arsenal at the Emirates. We drew 2-2 with Leicester. So, there you go. But I am Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. I don't know if he's the long-term manager for Man United, but I think Solskjaer is going to be given at least another season at the football club. This is his 2nd full season at the moment. I think, Solskjaer's made very, very good progress at Man United, in the last year or so. We've been very, very good away from home. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We are unbeaten in our last 18 Premier League away games. So yeah. We was unbeaten in 13 Premier League games in a row. Obviously until Sheffield United had beaten us. Performances have improved in that in recent months. Players are improving. There's still a few things that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to do at the football club. I think he's got to identify his best 11. He's got to give Donny van der Beek more opportunities. He's got to get his selections right persistently. In a lot of games at Man United, Solskjaer has been tactically naive, but there's also been games where he's showed tactical flexibility. We do deserve credit for sticking with Solskjaer because, like I said before, he could have easily been sacked as Man United manager because we have endured very bad periods under him. We was poor earlier on this season. We was poor at the start of last season. That's when we endured our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. Like I said, our board have got a soft stance on Ole. I think Solskjaer's got like 18 months left on his current contract at Man United. As far as I'm aware at the moment, there has been no discussions over getting him a new contract. Reflecting now on Solskjaer's been at the football club, he has gained some managerial experience. Man United is the third club in his managerial career. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. Won a few titles at Molde, didn't he? And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. He got sacked from Cardiff because he ended up getting them relegated. I think he made around 19 signings at Cardiff. And he's learnt quite a bit on the job. I think Solskjaer has made good signings at Manchester United despite our reluctance to back him with transfers and that. He's spent over £200 million at the club. In the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January of last year, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odion Ighalo in. And in the summer transfer window of last year, he brought Donny van de Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Diallo Traore. This season, Solskjaer got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, so I think he deserves credit for that. He's got us to the FA Cup 5th round. Solskjaer did well last season in his first full season. He guided us to 3 semi-finals, got us 3rd place, the second highest we've finished since Ferguson, and he also got us qualification for the Champions League. Solskjaer is inheriting players from other managerial eras. But, when Solskjaer taken over at Manchester United, he knew it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the culture of the club. Solskjaer knew he had to come to Manchester United and bring consistency back. He knew he had to come in and make the right signings. He knew he had to come in and get rid of the deadwood. And to his credit, he has done that well. And I think he's handled the whole situation well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, to be honest with you. I think he handled it well when he was under really, really bad pressure. Because maybe some managers at that time maybe would have considered resigning before they had the chance to get sacked. Mauricio Pochettino was the favourite to take over the club, don't forget, when Solskjaer was under pressure. Pochettino was the favourite to take over after Jose Mourinho got sacked. Solskjaer has been Man United manager now over 2 years. We did appoint him in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. In his first 3 months, Solskjaer was the interim manager, did very, very well as the interim manager, so we gave him the job permanently in March 2019. He's managed over 100 games now as Man United manager in all competitions. The game against Everton recently was his 100th Premier League game as manager. But we've had some good games under Solskjaer. Obviously, the 2 best games this season were obviously 6-2 against Leeds and the 9-0 win against Southampton. The first time we'd scored 9 goals since the 9-0 win against Ipswich back in 1995, which is 26 years ago. We've obviously had other big wins under Solskjaer as well. We had the 5-1 win against Cardiff. That was actually Solskjaer's first game as Man United manager. We had, the 6-0 win, was it, against Tranmere in the FA Cup, was that last season. 4-1 win against Newcastle. And there's quite a few others as well. One of Solskjaer's best games at Man United was a 3-1 win against PSG a few years ago, when we overcame that 2-goal deficit. That game against PSG, I think, was Solskjaer's last game as the interim manager. But it's good that we're seeing consistency now under Solskjaer, because we hadn't seen consistency for a long time. We've sacked 3 managers since Ferguson retired, and that was David Moyes. We sacked him after 10 months. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning 3 trophies in his first season. And we're not even really known as a sacking football club. So Solskjaer's our fourth permanent manager since Ferguson. You know, we've brought around 37 players in to the club since Ferguson left, and we've spent over £1 billion on them. We have made mistakes since Ferguson left, and that's one of the main explanations why we're so inconsistent for so long. Like I've already said to you, no one's going to do what Ferguson did at the club. And no one's going to last as long as Ferguson did at the club. Because Ferguson brought success to Man United. You know, if he'd have been sacked within that 4-year period he didn't win anything, we wouldn't have had any success, would we? Because before even Ferguson came into the equation, we was very, very inconsistent. But yeah, like I say, there's players that have really, really impressed me under Solskjaer this season. You know, I've got to say I've been very, very impressed with Luke Shaw. Aspects of his game have improved. You know, Luke Shaw's getting forward well. Luke Shaw's breaking up the play well. He's getting in good positions. He's putting good crosses into the box. He's creating chances for his teammates. And Luke Shaw does remain our first choice left back, despite the arrival of Alex Telles last summer. Alex Telles hasn't played nowhere near as much as I expected, but don't forget at one point Telles did have COVID. Luke Shaw's been at Man United now over 6 years. I think he's had a good career with us, but he is injury prone. I've been very, very impressed with Eric Bailly in the games he's played in this season, and I certainly prefer him to Lindelof, but my element of concern about Bailly is that he's injury prone. I think he's got an injury at the moment. He is actually a doubt, is he, for the game against West Ham? You know, Bailly's been at Man United now over 4 years, but I like the way Bailly plays the ball out from the back. He's very effective in the air. He intercepts the ball well. He blocks the ball well. So, yeah. And Wan-Bissaka, he's really, really improving at Man United. You know, he's getting forward a lot more now. He's taking plays on at the edge of the box. His crossing's improving. And Wan-Bissaka has always been superb defensively, hasn't he? You know, this is his second season at Man United. But I did say, didn't I, we just need to see more attacking intent from him, and he's showing that, you know, recently. Fred, I've been very, very impressed with him this season. You know, he's showing good attacking intent. He's breaking up the play well, is Fred. His passing's good. Fred can create chances. Fred's been at the club now a few years. We got Fred in a deal worth £52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. Like I said, Paul Pogba, I've been impressed with him. Marcus Rashford, he's really improved under Solskjaer. He's obviously enjoyed his bad periods, but when Rashford's playing well, he can get good runs in behind. He can create chances. He can score goals. But sometimes, Rashford gets near goal and he looks lost. His decision making's poor at times when he's near goal. His finishing's quite poor and his passing's poor. But Marcus Rashford, we need to keep him on the left out wide because that's where he's more effective. I don't think he's as good on the right-hand side and I don't think he's as good centrally. Rashford's been part of the club for several years. He's been a United player since the age of 7 and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. And since then, he has become an integral part of our team. Edinson Cavani, he's obviously made a fantastic impact. You know, Edison Cavani scores goals, he creates chances, his movement in and around the box is very, very good. Holds up the play well. I can assure Cavani will see out his contract at Man United. We got Cavani last summer on a 3. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a second year. Mason Greenwood, he's done very, very well recently, but still hasn't managed to score. But Mason Greenwood, you know, he can make good runs down that right hand flank. He can get into the box well. He can create chances, and he can score goals. Didn't really have a perception on him earlier on this season because he did have he had personal issues at one point. At one point he had injury, and at one point he was out with illness. Earlier on this season, Solkjaer was defending Mason Greenwood a lot. At the start of this season, we give Mason Greenwood that number 11 shirt. Bruno Fernandes, he's obviously an exceptional player. You know, he's our best player and he's the best signing we've made since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. It recently said that we are 3 months into contract talks with Bruno Fernandes, but apparently now contract talks have stalled. Bruno Fernandes' current contract expires in 2025, but there's also an option to extend his contract for a further 12 months. But it recently said Bruno Fernandes is planning on spending many years at Man United after his 12-month anniversary. Bruno Fernandes also denies that he needs a rest because he wants to help the club win trophies. He was disappointed we didn't win a trophy last season. He was. But Bruno Fernandes won Player of the Month for December, but he's won that now quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. He's certainly made the difference in the team. Donny van de Beek, he's also a good player when he plays, but he seldom starts. You know, he's only made 2 starts in the league this season so far, and that was West Ham and Southampton. Most of Donny van de Beek's appearances come from the bench. Solskjaer's already promised Donny van de Beek more game time at Man United. He made an admission, Solskjaer, a few weeks ago. He said Donny van de Beek is unhappy at Manchester United because of his lack of game time. You know, we got Donny van de Beek in a deal worth £40 million. We paid £35 million up front and there was £5 million in add-ons. And Van de Beek's got a contract with us until 2025. You can put him in 3 different roles. You can put him as a box-to-box midfielder. That was his predominant position. I actually can put him as a number 10 and you can also put him out wide. ESPN said during the January transfer window that we rejected several loan offers for Donny van de Beek because we wasn't willing to let him leave in the January transfer window. So yeah, you know, we have got some good players in our team. And I said, didn't I, our current squad is good enough to finish at least in the top 4. And I can almost assure that we will get the top 4 this season. I can't see us finishing at the top 4. In the summer transfer window, I think we'll see more players leave the club. Like I said, there's still a chance Pogba will go. Matic could go in the summer as well because he obviously isn't one of our first choice midfielders. Juan Mata, he's another player that could leave in the summer transfer window. It actually says we was willing to let 8 players leave to complete our squad overhaul, and 4 of them players are out on loan. You know, we're looking to get rid of Delors permanently. I think we're looking to get rid of Andres Pereira permanently. Maybe looking to get rid of Tahith Chon permanently as well. Maybe James Garner, he's another one. I will be giving you my predictions for the Man United West Ham game in the Cup. I presume that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be doing a press conference today for that game. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.